Hello children, today we will see the next part, that is fifth part of the chapter Is Matter Around Us is Pure. Now see, let's see what we will learn in this part. In this portion, we will learn the technique of separating the mixture. This is a fifth technique that is called chromatography. Okay, in this method, the color component from the liquid is separated with the help of filter paper. If suppose any color particle or color substance is present in a liquid, it can be separated with the help of filter paper in this method. Now see here, in here you have to take a strip of filter paper. Okay, then round about 2 centimeter mark a line with the help of pencil, okay, over the filter paper. Then put a drop of ink. You may be see here. Put a drop of ink on the filter paper. Then take a beaker. Put some water in that beaker. Okay, and hang that filter paper barely touching the water in that beaker. You have seen in this picture, just filter paper is just touching the water. Okay, and keep this arrangement for half an hour as it is. After some time, after half an hour, you find that the different component of the colors of the liquid get separated. Okay, here you can see the picture, the liquid, the color component of the liquid gets separated here. So this method of separation of mixture is called the chromatography. Now let's see the next method. Next method is called the distillation. In this method, you can separate the miscible liquid having from the mixture. Okay, if suppose miscible liquids means if two liquid mix with each other, then that type of a liquid is called the miscible liquid. Okay, in this method, first this miscible liquid is boiled. Okay, and after boiling, that miscible liquid cool and condense the vapor. By condensing the vapor, means if suppose you start boiling that liquid, okay, after boiling the vapors are formed, and these vapors are suddenly cooled down. Okay, and by cooling these you can separate the other part of the liquid, the liquid from the mixture, and that liquid which is separated from the mixture is called the distillate. Now see the arrangement here in this diagram. You have to take a distillating flask. It is given here, it is written here. You have to take a distillating flask. Okay, and this distillating flask is clamp, arrange on the clamp. You see, this is called the clamp, CLAMP, clamp. This is called the clamp, arrange on the clamp. Okay, and put the stand. On the stand you put this distillating flask over the wire gauge. Okay, and burner is kept below the stand. You are able to see this picture. Okay, and then this distillating flask is connected with the thermometer. On the side of distillating flask there is a condenser. You might be seeing the condenser is there. Condenser is attached. Condenser have the two parts. One is water outlet and another is cool water inlet. Cool water inlet means from this part the cold water entered in the condenser, and from the water outlet the remaining water or the warm water come out from this part. Now take the mixture of acetone and water in this flask. Start heating this mixture with the help of Bunsen burner. As acetone have the low boiling point, okay, it start boiling first. Okay, and from this, then its vapor get collected here and through the condenser capillary tube this vapor can pass. Okay, you are able to see this from this the capillary tube the boiling acetone is passed. As soon as this boiling acetone is passed through this capillary tube of the condenser, the cold water inlet, the water enters from the cold water inlet, it immediately condenses the vapors of the acetone. Okay, and that condensed vapor get converted into liquid. Okay, and that liquid get collected into this test tube, and this is called acetone, and this liquid which is collected after condensation is called the distillate. In this way you can separate the acetone from the water. So this method is called the distillation. Okay, then the second type, the next type of the distillation is called the fractional distillation. In fractional distillation, here there are the mixture of two or more liquid is there having a different boiling point. Okay, and the liquid are miscible with each other and they have a different boiling point. Okay, the setup of fractional distillation is same as a distillation, simple distillation, but only difference is that in this type of a process only fractionating column is attached. Okay, now the rest of the arrangement of the apparatus is same, only fractionating column is attached. Okay, and this fractionating column has a glass beads. Okay, which these glass beads increase the vapors surface area for the vapors to cool and condense. Okay, so these glass beads are present in this fractionating column. It increases the surface area of the vapor and for condensation. Okay, now see, with the help of this fractional distillation method you can separate the component of petrol, you can separate the component of air. Now let's see what is here. In this fractional distillation there is a round bottom flask is there. In round bottom flask you have to take the mixture of any miscible liquid with different boiling points. You start heating this mixture. Okay, the component which have low boiling point, okay, start vaporizing first, and this liquid or this vapor pass through the fractionating column, and from fractionating column this liquid pass to the fractionating column, and from fractionating column it goes to the condenser. Okay, and in condenser the water inlet, the cold water inlet, and condense the vapors of the boiled liquid, and that liquid which condense get converted into liquid and collected in this conical flask. In this way we can separate the different component of miscible liquid one by one. So this type of a distillation is called the fractional distillation, as fractionating column is used here. So this type of a distillation is called the fractional distillation. Then the next type, in the same way we can separate the component of the air. As you know, the air is a mixture of a different gas, that is oxygen, argon, nitrogen and any other. We can separate the component of air through the fractional distillation method only. In this method what you have to do, the air, you have to compress the air. When you compress the air, what happens? Air is in the gaseous state. Okay, and after compressing the air in the gaseous state it gets converted into liquid state. Okay, and we can, by compressing we also decrease the temperature of that air. Okay, and when this air get compressed and cooled by decreasing the temperature, this air get converted into liquid. This air after compressing and decreasing the temperature, it get converted into liquid. Then this liquid allowed to warm slowly. इसको हल्का हल्का सा you start heating in this fractional distillating flask. Okay, then what happened? The air which have the component of air which have low boiling point start vaporizing. ठीक है, जिसकी बॉइलिंग पॉइंट कम है उसके वेपर्स बनना शुरू हो जाएंगे। ओके, और ये वेपर्स जो है कंडेंसर में जाएंगे एंड आफ्टर गोइंग टू द कंडेंसर it get converted into liquid, and then you collect the each and every component of air one by one through in the conical flask. In this way we can separate the air through the fractional distillation method. Now see, purification of solid by crystallization. Now in this way we can get by, this is a method of crystallization. Crystallization means formation of crystal. Okay, in this crystallization we can get the pure solid form in the crystal form. Pure any substance we get the in solid crystal form. Now what you have to do, you have to dissolve the copper sulfate solution. You have to take a 5 gram of copper sulfate solution in a small amount of water. Okay, after that you have to take a 5 ml of solution in small amount of water. Okay, after that with the help of filter paper you filter the mixture of water and copper sulfate. Okay, then we have to filter it to remove the impurities. If suppose any impurities is present in the mixture of copper sulfate and water, these impurities is removed by filtration. Okay, and after that you have to evaporate this mixture in the china dish. You might have remembered the china dish is a like apparatus. You have to keep the mixture of a CuSO4, that is copper sulfate, plus water. Okay, you have to keep the mixture here and then you heat this with the help of a Bunsen burner. You have to take this mixture in the china dish. Okay, you might remember the china dish. Okay, and after heating cover the solution with the filter paper. Okay, and after covering allow the solution to cool. After some time you find the crystals. You have seen these crystals here. See the picture there, the impure copper sulfate is there. Then you will see the crystals of a pure copper sulfate. It will floating over the water. Okay, or you will see if water is minimum is there, you will see easily find the crystals of a copper sulfate in that china dish. Then see the type of a pure substance. Okay, in the previous class, in 8th class, you had learned about the elements. Okay, then what is an element? Element is a form of matter. Element is a form of matter which cannot be broken down into some simple substance. Suppose if we have taken the iron. Iron means formula is Fe. Fe is not broken down, so it is an element. Then copper. Copper is not further broken down, so it is an element. Now these elements are further classified as a metal, non-metal and metalloid. Now see the properties of metal. Metals have a luster. Metals have a luster means metals have a shine. Then they are malleable and ductile, means metal we can convert the metal into sheet and wire. Malleable means we can convert the metal into sheet, and ductile means the metal we can convert into wire. The metals are good conductor of heat and electricity, means heat and electricity can pass through this metal. They are the sonorous. Sonorous means the metal produce sound. Now see here the examples of metal: iron, aluminium, zinc, mercury, copper, silver, gold, etc. These are the examples of metals. Now see the properties of metal. The non-metals are non-lustrous, means they are not shining. Okay, then non-metals cannot be converted into malleable and ductile, means we cannot convert it into sheet and wires. Then they are the poor conductor of heat and electricity. Poor conductor of heat and electricity means no electric current pass through the non-metals. Then they are not sonorous. Sonorous means they are not producing any sound when we beat the non-metals. Now here are the examples of the non-metals: hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, iodine, carbon, sulfur, phosphorus, etc. Then see the metalloids. Metalloid is a substance which shows the property of metal as well as non-metals. Okay, it have some properties of metal and some properties of non-metals. The examples of metalloids are boron, silicon, germanium. Okay, now see the compound. Then compound is what is composed of two or more elements. Okay, compound is a mixture, or the compound is composed of two or more elements, and these elements are mixed in a fixed ratio. Okay, suppose the example is water, H2O. In water is from hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, in water hydrogen and oxygen combine into ratio of 1:8, and this ratio is fixed. Okay, so this water H2O is called the compound. Now see the distinguish between the mixture and the compound. First, see, mixture. It composed of two or more elements or compound mixed together. Now mixture is what? It is made up from two or more elements or two or more compound, and they are mixed together. Okay, but compound is a mixture, is composed from two or more elements. They are combining together. Okay, here they are normally mixed in mixture, and in compound these are chemically combined. Okay, in just now I told you the example of H2O. Okay, H2O hydrogen, in H2O hydrogen and oxygen are combined together. Okay, then the second property or the second difference of mixture and compound. The composition of component is in any ratio. In mixture, the composition is not fixed. They combine in any ratio. Okay, but in compound, the components are mixed in a fixed ratio. Suppose just now I told you the example, in water H2O is combined into 1:8 proportion always. Though it may be the water of sea, though maybe it water of a lake, though maybe it water from the water of any place, but the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen in that water is fixed, that is 1:8. Then the third property of the mixture is it shows the properties of component. Means जिस component से वो mixture बना है, okay, that जिस भी component से वो mixture बना है, that mixture shows the property of that particular component. ठीक है, उस जिस कंपोनेंट से वो मिक्सचर बना है तो वो उसकी प्रॉपर्टी वो शो करेगा मिक्सचर. बट कंपाउंड शोज अ डिफरेंट प्रॉपर्टी. वो कभी भी अपने कंपोनेंट की प्रॉपर्टीज़ नहीं बताएगा. इट शोज द different property. Then the fourth point, the component can be separated by physical method. Okay, suppose you had given the mixture of rice or any grain is there, then husk is also there, then small stone is also there. You can easily separate the husk or the stone from the rice or other grain, okay, by simple picking up or hand picking or physical method. But in compound it is difficult. The component can be separated only by the chemical method. Chemical method is required for the separation of compound. But for the mixture, you can simply, just now I told you the example of removing the husk and the stone from the grains is an example of separating the mixture. So this is the end of the chapter. That is all for today. Thank you.